Hi, this is Christy with BreederZoo, and today we are going to go over dogs' pedigrees. So let's go back a little bit, and from the home page, all you will do is you will click on Dogs, and it is right over here in this tab. Before you start building your pedigrees, it is imperative that you have all your dogs entered first. Print up your pedigrees from AKC or whatever copies you have and just start entering in the dogs. If they are dogs that are farther back in the database and you don't need every tiny little piece of information, you can just enter the dog's name and the gender. So I could still pull up coefficients, but I didn't have to enter all of the information. Once you've entered your dogs, like I said, for any pedigree you're going to want to build, enter the dogs first. I cannot stress that enough. So next you're going to go over to Pedigree. This is Great Kennel Life of Riley, and as you can see, everything goes all the way back. The coefficient is 0. If there is a percentage, it will show up right here. Let's go ahead and build a pedigree of a different dog. I am going to add a dog, so I'll click on the plus sign here. Oh, there we go. I'm going to name this dog Great Kennel Daisy, let's say. Okay, and I'm just going to build a basic pedigree. I'm not going to go in and add everything. I do have to add the gender, and we're going to make this a little female. Now I'm going to go to pedigree. Okay, so right here you can see it's totally blank. Nothing's been added. Okay, to start building the pedigree, all you need to do, you just start entering the dogs from the pedigree. This dog is part of a different pedigree, so since I've already entered and matched these dogs as ancestors, it's going to already populate for me. If you haven't connected them yet, then it's just going to show the one dog. So let's see if we can get a female here that does not have anything behind it entered. Okay, so this is Great Kennel Cinderella. And the reason nothing else is populated is because as far as the program knows, there are no ancestors. So we are going to add an ancestor in there. Just going to grab something. Let's add one more. Okay, and it's really as simple as that. You just continue to go through and add the dogs. And since you've already entered them previously, it goes very quickly. So now let's go back to the first dam we were on. We're going to go back to Riley. And the reason I wanted to show you this full pedigree again is because I'm going to show you what it looks like when you pull up a pedigree. I can choose what I want on it. So I have a logo, so I'm going to choose for the logo to be on there. I can choose for the coefficient to show up. If I had all these things entered, I could choose all of these things. We'll just pretend to click as many things as we can, but you're not going to see everything listed because it's not entered. So let's say we are going to print that, and there we go. See, in a few places I entered Labrador Retriever. If I had entered an AKC number, that would be listed underneath, or a color. All of those things will be included. And then you can print this right up. It looks really professional. And that's how you pull up a pedigree in the dog section. Now, there are also puppy pedigrees, but we will go over that when we get to that section of the program. Let's pull up a different pedigree, and I'm going to try to make it create some type of a coefficient. Let's just kind of throw some stuff in there, but let's add another side. Try to think of something that actually has something behind it. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I am going to add Goldilocks again back over here. Okay, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to recalculate, update the different methods of coefficient. Okay, so now we have both of the coefficients. I've had a lot of people ask me why I've included two methods of inbreeding coefficient. And the answer is because they both bring something to the table and are unique and different. Both the Hardiman's and Wright's method are based on the principle that inbreeding of an individual is half of the relationship of the sire and dam. But how they calculate that data is different. The Hardiman's method always calculates to 5 generations. It includes all ancestors within those 5 generations. So what that means is it includes any common ancestors inside the dam's pedigree, any common ancestors inside the sire's pedigree, and any common ancestors between the dam and the sire. So it includes all. So that's the big difference between Hardiman's and Wright's, is Hardiman's includes all ancestors that are common inside that 5 generations. Now the Wright's method, on the other hand, is calculated as far back as you want to go. With that, you can get varying numbers. If it's only calculating 7 generations, you may get one coefficient versus calculating it back to 32 generations. BreederZoo calculates to 10 generations. If you do not have 10 generations in there, then it will calculate what you have. So you can get varying numbers depending on how far back you have entered your pedigrees. Wright's method calculates its inbreeding coefficient only between the dam and the sire. So it's only looking for common ancestors between the dam and the sire. So both coefficients are incredibly useful. There will be times that Hardiman's is higher than Wright's. There will be times that Wright's is higher than Hardiman's, and there'll be times that they're very similar to each other. But as long as you know the information and what's behind it, it will help you make better breeding decisions. Now we're going to go on to trial mating. Let's go to Great Kennel Life of Riley. So I'm going to click on Active, and I'm going to click on this boy, Great Kennel Lovestruck, and I'm going to save it. And now it's calculating the coefficient, and there we go. So it's telling me the Hardiman's is a little bit higher and the Wright's is really low. And as I said before, I explained what the differences are between the two. So it's really awesome information to have. That's why we have both. So now that you've calculated that, you can pull up that pedigree. Let's add one more. And this time I am going to choose Great Kennel Quixote. And then we will save that. There we go. It's like almost non-existent. So Hardiman's found nothing, and this time Wright's has 0.4%. Let's pull up the pedigree. So you can do the same thing with your sires. You can reverse the method. It goes both ways. Well, that's it for today. Next time we will be going over heat and stud record and show record. Thank you and see you next time.